Alright guys, how we doing? Welcome back to the channel. Now today we're going to talk about something very topical, very unfortunate as well, but we have to cover this. I've been holding off talking about this for a while and I'll get into the reason why in a second, but we're going to be talking about Pokemon leaks and how Game Freak and the Pokemon Company International in general have a leak problem. So this is your spoiler warning. We are going to be talking about massive ZA spoilers that will be integral to your experience of playing the game, mega evolutions, etc. So if you don't want to know that before playing ZA in just over a month's time, click away from this video now. But we are going to dive in to this leaked list of mega evolutions. So here we go. This is supposedly and allegedly the official list of megas along with their designs based on descriptions, I believe. As you can see, we've already had a few of these. We've had the Mega Victory Bell, we've had Mega Dragonite, and of course, we've had Mega Hawlucha. There is also, and this is why I've been holding off of covering this for a little while, there is also likely going to be a Mega Malamar leak coming, or sorry, not leak, a Mega Malamar reveal, official reveal from the Pokemon Company coming tomorrow. There's some Malamar stuff that's going on, some really weird teasers. It's quite interesting how they're doing it, generating hype for their new game. I actually think it's quite smart from their perspective, but what it does confirm, not confirm, but all but confirm, is that this leaked list of megas, which Centro had from way back in 2024, this is real, unfortunately. And we just live in a world now where Pokemon games just get leaked. How do we stop that? Look, I'm going to be the first to admit in this video, I don't know the true inner workings of how leaks work. I understand the general problem from, there's so much distribution going on with Pokemon. They've got merch coming out, they've got people that work on translating the games, all these different regions across the world. It's super hard for the Pokemon Company to just keep a wraps on keeping every single person quiet. Now I do believe they make people sign NDAs. It's obviously against the law and against the rules for them to break that, but people find ways to do it without getting caught. And there's so many people that are involved in making a Pokemon game and developing a Pokemon game that for some reason now, in the age of the internet, social media, etc., people know that basically accounts like Centro Leaks and Riddler Coup will probably pay for this information, and it's going to generate hype. It just happens. And how do we avoid this? I don't know, but this is a problem, and this goes back to probably before Sword and Shield, but certainly I remember when I played, or when I was excited for Sword and Shield, I think a day or two before it released, I was going to do my first ever video on YouTube, and that was the first episode of Pokemon Sword, and we did a whole playthrough of that game. Don't go and watch those videos. They are terrible compared to the production quality now, I like to think. But I was so excited to play it, and I looked at a notification on my phone, and it was like a recommended tweet. I didn't even follow Centro at the time, but it was from Centro Leaks, and it said the legendary Pokemon of Pokemon Sword and Shield is Eternatus. And just reading the name Eternatus, against my will, by the way, I wasn't looking for this, it just popped up on my phone. It ruined the whole scene for me where the big G-Max Eternatus hand happens in the big final battle of Sword and Shield. And ever since then, there has been, to varying degrees, leaks of games. Now, Scarlet and Violet, it might have just been a case that I was out the loop, but I don't remember any particular spoilers for Scarlet and Violet. They may well have existed. Certainly, I've been, especially because I've been content creating a lot more recently, I've been really noticing so much information coming out both for ZA and for Gen 10. So, look, let's talk about this, because is this a good thing or is this a bad thing? Is this something the Pokemon Company can do anything about? Do they need to be more strict? Do they need to be... How do they address this problem? Because I think a lot of fans, me included, think this is a massive problem. This is cool, and I need to cover this, and I want to cover this for YouTube. And when this information comes out, I try to take this neutral stance that maybe it's fake, maybe it's real. Centro Leaks, in particular, as an account, have run with fake information before, so I've always been holding on to hope that this is fake. But considering the correlation now, this is the fourth mega. If Malamar gets revealed in the next day or two, this will be the fourth mega that is correct. So what do we do? Is this a good thing? Do you like the leaked hype? Can Pokemon still conceal information? Is that possible now? Or are there just too many chinks in the armor? Are there too many links in the chain, if that makes sense. And, you know, it just takes one of those links to be corrupted. One person in this multitude of thousands of people working on developing these games to slip out a little bit of information for this to hit everybody's radar if they want to consume it. Now, I'll be honest, I'm a hopeful guy. You know, a lot of my theories on this channel are very hopeful. I like to think about the best case scenario, and I think it's good to do that. I think hope is a really good thing to have. It's unfortunate now that the word copium gets thrown around so much, because it's almost like that word has replaced hope. Like, the idea of hope just isn't a thing. It's just copium now. It's just everything is bleak, and anything that's positive or optimistic is just copium. But with that being said, I'm still hoping that this is at least only part of the full picture, that there's information that we've not received. Malamar is probably coming tomorrow. I won't be here to cover it for a couple of days, but that's probably going to be something like what we see tomorrow or in the next couple of days. There's been this weird Pokemon TCG live takeover from Malamar, where like it looks to be that Malamar's like hypnotizing everybody to give it like positive, basically like positive press. It's really weird, but also very, very cool. We have some more leaks to get into. Before we do that, tell me down in the comments, do you think this is good or bad? Do you think that this is something that they can stop? How can they try to stop this information from leaking out months and months before the game's release? For a moment, let's just talk about these mega designs, because these are going to be fairly accurate. Like I said, I believe these were generated based on descriptions of these megas. Mega Skarmory to me just looks kind of like a shiny Skarmory. It doesn't look that different. It's got a slightly longer tail, slightly longer head spike. Let's start from the left. Mega Clefable, this looks amazing. Mega Victory Bell, we've already seen. Mega Starmie, no, unless this has some sort of like radiation or some sort of aura, it like phases in and out. I'm thinking like Ghost from Marvel. Give it some sort of like alien vibe that makes it cooler than just Starmie getting slightly like basically growing legs. I just think this sucks as a still image, but let's see. Mega Dragonite, quite like it now. It took me a little while. Meganium, I think I love it, to be honest. I think this looks pretty cool. Mega Feraligatr, again, it's like, if you're going to make a Mega Feraligatr, is that really it? Gets a bigger jaw, gets like an extra head thing? I don't know what's going on there. I would have liked to seen a slightly different Feraligatr design, but let's see what it looks like animated, and that's the case for all of these. Wait to see what they look like animated. Mega Emboar looks awesome. Doesn't look like it's a ground type. Looks like it still remains fighting. Maybe just becomes pure fire. I don't really know. It looks like a gladiator of some description. Looks pretty cool. We won't go through all of these guys, but for the most part, I think these are pretty cool, and I cannot wait to see what on earth this is about. Is that the ultimate weapon? What is this? It looks like Umbreon ears coming off of it, but with a green. Obviously, you've got all the Mega Energy in there. Is this artificial? Is this natural? What is this? Drampa looks pretty cool. Kind of looks like a different version of a Miraidon and Koraidon in a way. But this looks really, really cool with its kind of like more... looks like a more Chinese-inspired dragon, I would say. And there's some really cool ones here. Greninja's another one that I think looks pretty cool. What's your favourite out of these guys? I mean, they're going to look not exactly like this, but probably quite like this. Let me know what you think. Moving on to some other leaks. So we know that there's probably going to be a Malamar release tomorrow. Again, I'm not going to be around to cover it, but we can talk about some other leaks that Centro have been talking about. There's two things I want to focus on. Number one is this. So in Pokemon Legends EA, alpha Pokemon will always know one move that their species doesn't normally learn. So I don't know to what extent this goes, but the way this is worded, and this blurry text, I can barely read it, but the way that this is playing out in my head is like you fight like an alpha Umbreon, and it just has like randomly it has like Hydro Pump or something. That's what's in my head. It's probably not quite like that. Let me know what you think about that. That's a bit more minor, but still very cool. Move Mastery is back as well, which was covered a couple of days ago by Centro, and apparently the C+ might indicate something to do with that Move Mastery, where this time it works differently to Legends Arceus, whereby Mega Evolved Pokemon by default use these things called plus moves. But plus moves are also accessible if you master a move with any Pokemon anyway, which basically makes it more powerful. So we'll see how that works. I think that looks pretty cool. And here's something that I didn't cover, but we've been talking about this for a while, and I just simply don't believe that Lumio City is going to be the only location for this game. Even if they double the map size, we've seen the map size, remember, we've seen this demo. The map looks incredibly small, maybe a quarter, maybe maximum 1/3 of the entirety of the Legends Arceus map, and I don't think it's I think it's more like a quarter. And you know what we've been talking about is maybe there's an underground bit like the Paris Catacombs that links to like the Terminus Cave and so on. That's a very real possibility, and that would give us a little bit more. what this says here is that there'll be a DLC, or there was planned to be a DLC. This actually talks about Legends Z8 originally being planned to launch in November 2024, was pushed back, probably to do with Gen 10, maybe something else, and its DLC was meant to have already been out now, which would have been July this year, so when the Pokemon Direct was. Maybe this is why the fans are feeling that the Direct was underwhelming and stuff like that. But the plans have changed. Obviously, we know everything's been pushed back. But this basically, look, the main point here is that Pokemon Legends Z8 is supposedly, according to Centro here, going to have a DLC. And I believe that this DLC will take us, if not to other parts of Kalos, then what I've been saying, and I've done a theory on this, to another region entirely. I believe that Unova is a very likely candidate because it's one of the only regions we haven't seen Mega Evolution in. And what's the place called? Castelia City, which is the capital, essentially the New York kind of city in Unova, was depicted as the background of the Mega Evolution TCG set that was recently announced, with Lucario and Gardevoir being portrayed and depicted in Castelia City. And it's very clearly Castelia City. So that's my theory. But look, this is all very, very cool to talk about. It's all very topical for a video, but Game Freak has a massive problem when it comes to leaks. And I don't like the leak culture that we're in. I will look for it if it's there, because I think it's, firstly, because it's almost unavoidable now, especially when you're a content creator and stuff, but also because I want it to be wrong so profusely that I want that moment where, you know, Gen 10, again, leak here, guys, spoiler warning, but Gen 10 is supposedly in the Cyclades or the Cyclades, I don't know how to say it, but this group of like islands in the off the Greek coast. It's like an archipelago setting. If Gen 10 gets revealed on February Pokemon Day 2026 and it's something different to that, it's not a Greek setting, it will be a massive, massive win, and I will celebrate it so hard because I so desperately want this leaked information to be wrong. That being said, fair play to these guys. The Centro leaks, I don't like how they have run with false information before. Really don't enjoy that. Much preferred the method of Riddler Coup, where he knows stuff but he's a bit more almost smug about it, and he gives us a little bit of a breadcrumb trail to reveal things, and then later on when it is officially revealed, he'll then go, this is what that meant. Some people will have worked it out, some people won't. Sometimes no one ever worked out his riddles, but Centro leaks, just when they know it, they just in your face, there it is. And that's how I got my spoiler based on notifications. It was kind of my own fault to have that setting on, right? But anyway, guys, that's kind of my thoughts today. I just wanted to talk about leaks in general. How do we stop this? Is it ever gonna stop? How can Pokemon and Game Freak address this? What do you think about living in a leak culture? Maybe you've never lived in an era where there was no leaks, where it was a real surprise. The internet, social media is just a place now where this stuff is going to happen, but how can they stop it? So that's it really for today, guys. I just wanted to talk about this. Now, if you have any inside info or any kind of stuff that I haven't mentioned that you wanted to add to this conversation, you are more than welcome. I really would love to hear your thoughts down in the comments. We do have a member giveaway happening to celebrate the channel hitting 10,000 subscribers. Thank you for that, guys. Really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun making content over the last few months and finally hitting this milestone, which was my yearly target. So buzzing to have hit that. And in celebration, we are doing a member giveaway. We're going to be giving away a copy of Pokemon Legends ZA Digital. So it doesn't matter where you're from, we will get it done. Channel members will be entered into the draw. You also get a bunch of perks, like you get the custom emojis, the loyalty badges, you get stream perks, you get nicknames for our playthroughs and challenges when we live stream. So a bunch of perks. If you want to check it out, guys, click the join button. If other than that, guys, let me know your thoughts about the leak situation. Let me know what you think about the idea of DLC in Pokemon Legends ZA. Very exciting, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care, guys. Love you, gang.